Hey everybody, this is your substitution video notes, your substitution video I should say, and make sure you have your notes in front of you. This is kind of like our second level of substitution. So, if you would please, think of this as a bell ringer. I want you to pause the video and try all three of these. Go ahead. So I'm going to substitute. I'm going to put the 5 in for the z. I know this is multiplication because they're smushed. I'm going to put the 8 in for the n. And I'm going to put the 3 in for the e. That is what substituting is about. I'm going to multiply. That comes before subtraction. And there's my first one. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute here. 5 times n. Notice we can show multiplication with the parentheses if we need to. 5 times 3. All the substitutions done. I have two sets of multiplication here. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to do those together. You can count if you wish. And 40 minus 15 gets us 25. Number 3 is a little different than what we've seen before. It's no big deal. It just looks different. Z is a 5. E is a 3. Notice that E is an exponent, so that your 3 has to be an exponent. So that's 5 cubed, which means 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times this 5 gets us 125. So that's pretty fast. Feel free to pause, feel free to go back whenever you need to. Alright, these four are very similar, written a little differently, so I'd like you to pause and try all four of them. Go ahead. Okay, so let's substitute here. I'm going to go a little faster. 2 times 9 minus y. Sorry, that's not y. Y is 7. We've got 18 minus 7, which is 11. Next one, if we substitute, don't get rid of the parentheses until you've used everything inside of there. 7 squared is 49 plus 9. See, we've got to keep those parentheses. We got 14 here. 49 and 9 is 58. Minus 14 is 44. If we look down here, it's telling us that P is 36. So I can substitute the P in here. And it's saying, is this true or false? Well, if I subtract 45 and 36, I get 9. Does 9 equal 11? Of course not. So we draw a line through the equal sign. That tells us that they're not equal. 9 is not equal to 11. And then this answer is false. And the last one, we've got 64 equals 16 times m. And we're saying m could be one of those three choices. So you could substitute if you want. You could say 16 times 3 is 48. You could say 16 times 4. That was 3, believe it or not. 16 times 4 is 64. 16 times 5 is 80. Which one of those works? It's clearly 4. If you like that. If you would rather do the inverse, meaning 16 times m, that's multiplication, but we don't know what m is, so you do the inverse. 64 divides 16 equals 4. Either way, that'll give you the 4. And again, feel free to go back if you need to. Feel free to hit pause if you need to. Practicing substitution here. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. 88 minus n equals 46. We're saying you could have one of these three numbers could be in for n. So you could substitute those if you want to. That's perfectly fine. That'll get you the answer that you need. Let me show you something here. If I took a simple example and I said 5 minus 3, we all know that's 2. Could I rearrange the 5 and the 3 and the 2? Could I say 5 minus 2 and will that still equal 3? It does, right? So I can replace these. I can switch these just like I can do that here. I can say 88 minus 46 will get me n just the same way. You can do your math. 8 minus 6 is 2. 8 minus 4 is 4. So we're saying n is 42. So anytime you're doing subtraction, you can switch whatever you're subtracting in the answer. Okay, whatever you're subtracting in the answer. It also works with division. So if you would please, here's my examples I already did. If you would please, try those next two, so you can pause and solve those. Go for it. So you can substitute the 2 in for the y, the 3 in for the y, the 4 in for the y. Perfectly fine to do that. I'm going to do the inverse though. So let's write that down. Inverse means the opposite. Okay, so the inverse operation, the inverse of multiplication is divide, the inverse of adding is subtract. So in this case we have multiplication. So I'm going to do the inverse. I'm going to do 42 divide 14. Notice I could write it like a fraction too. We said that means division. 14 goes into 42 3 times. So I'm telling you that y equals 3. This one down here, same thing. It says division. You could substitute these 3 in if you needed to. Or this says multiplication, or this says division. So let's do the inverse, which is to multiply. 16 times 4 equals k. 16 times 4 is 64, so 64 equals k. There we go. Okay, next page. Next slide, I should say. This is saying, is the equation true or false if the variable substitute with a given value? So you go ahead and try all 3 of these, hit pause, and we'll check with you in a second. Go for it. If I substitute the 12 in, is 4 times 12 48? Well, 4 times 12 is 48. Does that equal 48? Yes, this is true. Put the G in. Put the 77 in for the G. 7 minus 5, is that 2? Yep. 7 minus 1, is that 5? No, it is not. It is a 6. This one is false. And the last one, let's put 48 in for the Z. Is 48 divided 16 3? Well, if you know that, then you know that it's true. Or could we do the inverse? Could we say 3 times 16? Does that give you 48? We sure could. 3 times 16 is 48. Either way, true story. And the last one. Now we have a fraction. So this says 8 over 12 squared. Well, just like anything else that's squared, 8 over 12, if it's squared, it's just going to be 8 over 12 times 8 over 12. Remember, with multiplication, you multiply the numerators and the denominators. 8 times 8 is 64. 12 times 12 is 144. So there's some simplifying that can happen here. I'm going to divide them both by 8. 64 divided by 8 is 8. 144 divided by 8, that's a little tougher. That's 18. I can still keep going with this one. Divided both by 2, and I get 4 9ths. Now I could have done some simplifying ahead of time here. I could have said, so I'm going back to this situation here. I could have said 4 goes into both, right? 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes into into 12 3 times. You can do the same here. 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes in here 3 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. If I were you, I would do that simplifying first. That saved us a whole bunch of time. So if you would please do those next two. Hit pause and go for it. So 3/4 cubed is 3/4 times 3/4 times 3/4. So on the top, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. On the bottom, 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. Believe it or not, that is simplified. This bottom one, 1/5 to the 4th. 1/5 times 1/5. We're going to do this 4 times. The top, no matter how many times you multiply 1, you get 1. Easy. On the bottom, I'm just going to go, maybe this will make more sense. I'm just going to go 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25. And I have to multiply these two. We've had this one in the past a few times, actually, 25 times 25, and that is 625. That's your substitution exponents video.